Good morning, Grenada. It's your boy Troy Gill, and welcome to Rise and Shine. Of course, we have lots of information, great content coming your way, but we want to start with this morning's fitness to get you pumped and ready for today. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The 5th Annual Masters of Calypso Melody and Rhythm Edition, Sunday, May 8th, Mother's Day, at the Spice Basket Bolio St. George's. Showtime, 6 p.m. and tickets cost $60. Featuring live from Trinidad and Tobago, Baron. Chicanos.
This is party time. I'm feeling to wine.
From Barbados, Red Plastic Bag. From Grenada, Beast, Scholar, Inspector, Black Wizard, Cox, Samantha Dixon, Squeezy, and Moyakai. A special award ceremony for the Hitman Inspector.
Let me tell you that, Inspector, eating better. Make yourself at home, young fella. Eating better.
All artists backed by the Royal Grenada Police Force Band. A special cocktail on entry for all mothers. Compliments West Hall Rum. Tickets available at Mitchell's Health and Wellness Grand Anse, Grenada Optical St. George's, Kittens Pharmacy in St. George's and Grand Anse, St. David's Pharmacy, Licks and Bites Guave, Maxie's Bar Grenville, Masters of Calypso, powered by West Hall Rums, National Lotteries Authority, Flow, Senator Nolan Cox, Captain Harris Suite, Mitchell's Health and Wellness, ML Construction Services, King Elvis Taxi and Tours. One special evening dedicated to mothers. Sunday, May 8th, 6 p.m. This will be one unforgettable show.
She was high. She was flaming.
The Nawasa app brings the power of Nawasa's customer service experience to you. Instant, conversational, and smart. Easy access anywhere. Get bill balance, transaction history for up to 6 months, report a fault, link to websites, view payment centers, contact information, push notifications, and multi-tenant accounts, all in a secure login platform. Like a self-service concierge app, mobile.nawasa.gd gets you the support you need much faster. Available on both Android and iOS platforms. Mobile.nawasa.gd, your customer support companion. Nawasa, committed to meeting customers' needs.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Troy Gill, and we are here at Geomax Gym Grenville. And of course, if you are in the Grenville area and you're looking for a gym, you can come to Geomax. Geomax opens from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, and on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Of course, we want to get all pumped and ready for today, so I'm going to be demonstrating 3 exercises, all right, to get your heart pumping, get your blood flowing, get you ready to start your day. All right, so you guys ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, nice and easy. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Upward punches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, punches guys. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! Alright guys, so we're gonna take a 20-second break, and remember, like I always say, always keep drinking your water. Take sips of water in and between your workout guys. That is essential. It's important to stay hydrated. Alright, so we're gonna do 2 more sets of this routine. Ready guys? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Upward punches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Forward punches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! Good job guys. If you are following, and keep drinking your water guys. Alright, remember that exercise is important guys. Right, get your heart pumping, get your blood flowing, help you to burn some calories. Alright guys, so we got 1 final set, and then we're gonna call it a day. Hope you guys are ready. Are you guys ready? Have you been following? Alright, so let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Upward punches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Forward punches. 1. Come on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! Good job guys, if you were following. Alright guys, I hope you benefited from this session guys. Remember, any form of movement, every form of exercise is important guys. And like I always encourage you to drink your water. Remember to stay hydrated. Alright guys, we are experiencing some really hot conditions, and so it's important to stay hydrated. And I also want to encourage you as well to make healthy choices. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining us. See you again next time.
Some of the language we may hear, people loosely use, oh, girl, you're crazy, or this is crazy, and you think to yourself, is that the way you should say this? No, there might be someone in the room that have a mental illness, and if they're hearing you using that term and you like no regard for their condition, and with the condition too, And with language, you always put the person first. So you don't say a crazy person. And you not say that word at all, right? They have a mental illness, and you shouldn't say mentally ill person. A person living with a mental illness. And this is where language comes in. So sometimes healthcare professionals, we have a role. So if we are using correct terminologies, good language, proper language, then the people seeking help and other people, not as you mentioned, you go there for one condition, but people associate you with that another condition, and you're thinking, okay, well, no. But if we use proper language at the setting, we can have better treatment, better management. So in terms of diabetes, same thing. You don't say diabetic. You say a person living with diabetes for all the conditions, and this is how stigma comes in. So we want to prevent stigma, we want to fight against, and last year PAHO had a virtual course. So on their website, the virtual campus, I did the course. It was with the Caribbean countries, so mainly they had psychologists there. As a nutritionist, I was interested because I am seeing clients, and some of them, they have some mental issues going on, so I want to understand better, right? And how can I help them manage their condition and not just think of them having a condition like a mental illness. So the course, it ran for 4 months, and it was great, and I learned a lot, which I have, information that I can share with the public, with my colleagues, with my clients, to help really understand stigma, understand their condition, and help them manage their condition.
I am Tonya St. Louis Lawrence with the details. On Tuesday, the country recorded over 100 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the number of active cases in the country to 535, with 8 hospitalized cases. Minister for Health Nicholas Steele says health officials are monitoring hospitalized cases, which remain low at the moment. We have more in this report.
Grenada recorded 177 new cases of COVID-19 on Tuesday, according to statistics from the Ministry of Health dashboard, bringing the number of active cases in the country to 535. While the Minister of Health says we should be concerned, hospitalized cases remain low. He confirmed that 8 moderately ill patients are currently being treated at the hospital.
Well, we should always be concerned. Remember, the ministry has consistently said COVID is not gone, that we are living with COVID, that we've gotten to a certain stage where we need to, in finding that balance between lives and livelihoods. We're living with COVID. I encourage you to also look at the level of hospitalizations or the number of people who are sick with severe symptoms or so. So that still remains very low, and that is what we are monitoring.
The health minister says the number of hospitalized cases will determine what adjustments the government makes going forward.
And that is what will dictate how we may adjust or tweak. But for the time being, people need to be aware that COVID has not gone away. We are living with it. So it is around and among us, and therefore it would be prudent for us to take the necessary cautions, and we need to accept the fact that we will continue to have periods where we will see spikes and troughs with respect to COVID-19, like any other country.
Minister Steele is encouraging individuals who are not yet vaccinated to get vaccinated. He says COVID-19 vaccines remain the best choice for fighting the virus.
The only way to fight this disease, or the best way to fight this disease, is getting vaccinated. I myself am going to get my booster within this week. And others of my administration and family and friends have done that. And I encourage people still, please, to maintain that level of vaccination and to be boosted every 6 months. COVID-19 has not gone away. It is among us, and we are living with it. because this current strain is not as deadly as the other strains. We need to be aware that it is among us and we are living with it.
Nikita Hosten, MTV News.
President of the Parent-Teacher Association of the Anglican Primary School in St. Andrew says despite mixed reviews on its temporary relocation, he welcomes the move as it will allow for the reconstruction of a brand new learning facility on the existing site. Troy Gill has more.
Work is ongoing at Progress Park, St. Andrew, the temporary location for the Anglican Primary School, to facilitate construction of a new modern learning institution at its present location in the town of Grenville. President of the Parent Teachers Association, Clint Williams, speaking to MTV News on Tuesday, said after several stakeholder engagements, he is happy the school is being temporarily relocated. However, there appears to be mixed reviews.
Well, first, let me say, we've been in a lot of meetings for years now. We've been in meetings trying to get the school organized. There was always a problem for the land to locate where the school want to locate. Some wanted back on the spot, some wanted move. So we had a lot of problem with that. Personally, I am fed up. So when I see they started the school there, I rejoice. Then I hear the people on the outside saying it's a wrong place for the school. So in my opinion, it may be wrong, but because I've been in the meeting from early, we keep negotiating to get the school going, and I think it's time due for the school, for a brand new school. I think I just have to take what I get.
One of the concerns he revealed is where the school is being temporarily relocated.
Yeah, but it's a relocation, and we're hoping that it's a relocation and that the proper school start to build immediately, so they could be comfortable. But I would have preferred it probably behind the pavilion, which is a little more quiet, compared to right by the road. But at this moment, I just glad to see that it's happening. And we could get with school in time. Well, first people didn't realize it was a school. Everybody was asking what they building there. I tell most people, a lot of people I keep telling them it's a school, and then when people heard it's a school, they was disappointed. The majority of people I spoke to are disappointed. They think it's a wrong place. They think it is robbing from the park. They think it could have been more in the back, or, everybody had different ideas.
Stakeholders, including members of the Anglican fraternity, insisted that the new school should be constructed on the original site, Williams said, and he was also privy to the designs of the new facility.
Yes, I think the issue is settled. I think he's going back on the original ground. The last meeting we went in, that was just before the COVID came in. They show us just a sketch of the building, how you set up, where parking lot is. And there was a meeting before that where we actually say the amount of things we want on the compound,
In an earlier report, Minister of Education Honorable Emmeline Pear indicated that the decision to temporarily relocate the school to Progress Park was the most feasible solution. School is expected to commence at the temporary location in September. For MTV News, Troy Gill.
Minister of Works announces that a contract has been awarded to a regional company and work is scheduled to commence on the Molyneux Land Slippage project in June. The Works Minister also gave an update on the Mount Cooma Road project, which is scheduled to be completed in July. We get more from Troy Gill.
During Tuesday's post-cabinet press briefing, Minister of Works and Infrastructure Development, Senator Nolan Cox, announced that a contract has been awarded to a St. Lucian company and work is expected to commence on the Molyneux Land Slippage in the coming weeks.
This project has been awarded to a construction company, an OECS construction company out of St. Lucia. That company is in the name of Construction and Industrial Equipment Limited. They have been awarded the Molyneux Landslip Restoration Project. We are now finalizing contract arrangements with the said contractor, and they will be mobilizing during the month of May with a view to commence infrastructure work sometime in June.
When probed on why a regional company was selected, Cox said 13 companies picked up tender documents, but only 6 returned documents, 4 of which were local. However, they failed to meet the requirements.
So a number of the bids that was submitted were not responsive, meaning that significant information that was required as part of the tender documents was not submitted. Like, for example, if you were supposed to submit financials and you didn't submit all, that will be flagged. A number of things you have to submit experience. If you have to submit evidence of experience of doing work of that nature, if you didn't submit those, you're going to be flagged for those, and that will deem your tender response as being unresponsive and basically would be disqualified.
Cox also provided an update on the Mount Kuma Road, which connects the Bolio Main Road to the Grenville Vale Road in St. George, which will be used as an alternate route.
That project is moving ahead steadily. It is on schedule. It is on schedule to complete by July, by the end of July. That project is scheduled to complete. That project is done in response to the slippage that we have at Molinier and the pressures that we're experiencing on the Mount Morris route, which is an alternative route that we have engaged for persons who have to traverse to the north of the island. Currently, the bridge, that connects on the Grenville Vale end is about 70% complete, and the contractor is engaged in precasting the slipper drains, curbs, and also box drains. And concrete pavement is already started casting.
He was unable to disclose the cost of the project as negotiations are ongoing. However, he said the average is $10 million and is locally funded. For MTV News, Troy Gill.
With the rainy season just around the corner, the issue of flooding in the town of Grenville continues to be a major concern for residents and the business community. However, one government minister says a study is ongoing that will provide some possible solutions, beginning with the proper drainage systems which are currently being addressed. Here once again is Troy Gill with that story.
The town of Grenville is below sea level, and that is something that no engineering cannot change unless we decide to raise all the buildings and the whole area in the town of Grenville. And so that is something that we must keep foremost in our mind, that the town of Grenville is below sea level. And when you have situations like that in a built-up area, and if you have an incident, or when you have an incident of high tide and heavy downpour, you are going to have challenges in terms of outflows of runoff water. The town of Grenville is mainly a concrete area. A lot of it is hard surfaces, whether it's person's yard, and that in itself is a catchment. And obviously, more water is going to run off than ever.
That was Minister of Works, Senator Nolan Cox, providing an update on a flood mitigation study that includes the town of Grenville St. Andrew. With the approaching wet season, the issue of flooding continues to be a concern, and according to Cox, one of the key strategies is the distribution of water away from the town.
The flood mitigation study is not just pinpointing just the town of Grenville. It will look at the surrounding areas, the contributaries, the tributaries, the areas where water is actually coming into the town, and to see what volume of water, to see what is contributing to that flooding incident in the town of Grenville. And they will offer engineering solutions where possible for us to either to mitigate, to slow down, or to redirect some of the waters to other areas. Because if you have a situation where a large volume of water is coming to one area and creating a flooding, if you can do an engineering intervention that can disperse it, spread it out, so that other areas can share the burden, that in itself can alleviate and help.
The ongoing project in Grenville is specifically targeting the drainage system to allow for a smooth flow of water, Cox says.
The work that is going on currently with the sidewalks is not just the sidewalks. Hence the reason why we have taken some time to have those works implemented. Significant designs have gone into those works to ensure it's more the drains that we're restoring than anything else. That is what we are doing, and as a consequence, the sidewalk in itself is also getting an upgrade. So the main focus is on the drains to ensure that drainways, those areas, if you notice, all the box drains are being replaced. Some of it is compromised, some of it has collapsed, and that in itself is impeding the flow of water within the tongue itself, so that water is not going as fast as possible. In some areas, water is held up because you have collapsed culverts or collapsed drainways. And so the work that we're doing now is to help alleviate that.
To date, most of the sidewalks and drains are under repair and some have already been completed. For MTV News, Troy Gill.
Head of the Bank and General Workers Union, Joseph Mitchell, believes that while the government did not send home employees as a result of COVID-19, they were best positioned to ensure job security for all. Speaking on the issues affecting the working class, job losses in the face of ongoing pandemic, Mitchell says was a major encounter.
We recognize that many workers over the last 2 years have been denied a bread, have been thrown out of their employment because of hostile COVID-19 policies, in particular in the tourism industry. Government did not send home anybody, but they stood idly by and watched these workers on the altar of sacrifice in the name of the economy. We call on the government, if you truly care about the people, to ensure that these workers are reinstated in their jobs.
Mitchell expressed displeasure with the commercialization approach for government estates.
In 2015, the government embarked on a commercialization of government-controlled estates. In other words, they gave the estates over to the private sector. This is losing money. They promised that these estates would increase employment in the rural communities. They promised that they were going to do community projects in the communities. They promised to export. Sad to say, brothers and sisters, what we have seen today is a total decline in the agriculture sector, and in particular, these government-controlled estates. They have declined from 20-something workers per estate down to only 4 workers.
He calls on the government to do more than lip service to the agriculture sector.
We call on government, if we are going to consolidate and advance gains, it means recognizing the significant contribution of the agriculture sector in the rural community in the past, and to engage in sustainable agriculture programs that would benefit the rural community.
Grenada seeks to reshape the narrative around the cruise ship sector so more Grenadian nationals can derive greater benefits and deliver enhanced value to visitors. That's the consensus shared at the recent Sea Trade Cruise Global Conference in Miami by Petra Roach, Chief Executive Officer of Grenada Tourism Authority. Regional tourism leaders were invited to discuss mutually beneficial growth and sustainability strategies for the continued development of the cruise industry. According to Roach, they are committed to ensuring that relationships with the cruise lines are win-win partnerships.
The resonating comment to us has been, do you know what, Grenada put up its hand, they came to the table, they really helped us through a really difficult time, and we want to continue building on that partnership. So the conversations have now just gone on, and they've gone past the initial thing about, okay, well, are you going to be coming into port? So now we're talking about extending the length of time that the ships are staying in port. We're talking about deepening the partnerships where we're looking at recruitment of local staff. We're looking at how we can provision with, our specialty items like chocolate and honey and rums, actually, which is where we've got some competitive advantage.
Emerging from the pandemic, talks with the cruise sector were mutually productive.
And we really also want to introduce the idea of our experts, our local experts, being a part of the speaker panels on board these ships as well.
The Hillsborough Botanical Garden Revitalization Project in Carriacou was officially launched last weekend, signaling the start of the beautification and celebrating major strides made on the project to date. We get more from Nikita Hostin.
The project by Honorable Kinja Maturin-Stewart, Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and Local Government, is being undertaken by the Division of Agriculture in the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and Local Government. Minister Maturin-Stewart says the project was promised during the 2018 election campaign and is happy to see it come to fruition. Speaking at the launch, Minister Stewart says the Botanical Garden will also be a tourist attraction site.
This green space in the heart of Hillsborough is meant really to add a therapeutic and rejuvenating atmosphere to the town. With all the vibe and flavor, it should be and it will be a park for relaxation, socializing for locals, and of course, a tourist attraction for visitors. I visualize a place where families, couples, and individuals can come to relax, to meditate, to socialize, to court, to date, and to enjoy a natural environment away from concrete and architecture.
Minister Stewart spoke of the work currently being done on the project.
As the PS indicated, we have fenced, we have grassed, we have planted flowers, and we have added other beautifications to make this place special just for you. Today, I am very proud to present the revitalized Carriacou Botanical Gardens to you, all the citizens of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, for your total enjoyment and pleasure. And while it is still a work in progress and the grasses are yet to grow in full, I promise you that in this rainy season, you will see the beauty that this place will exude. I urge each and every one of you to make full use of this facility and to participate in its upkeep, ensuring that no one destroys it, for it is all of us to enjoy.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs is Ms. Ralda Kwamina. She was also present at the launch.
So as you see already, we would have had the perimeter of the gardens fenced, and that is part of the project. We have already did the surface work of the grounds and started some beautification.
Good morning,
now
Sugars.
we are in the process of awaiting a consultant to assist us in ensuring that we have the best arrangement for this green space.
Resident of the community, Bensford Roberts, embraced the project.
We have to commend the minister for bringing back and restoring the botanical garden. This is a long, long way we have to go. And, you know, there is things to be done inside here. And we're asking the people if they would support the garden, support whatever is doing inside here. It's not mine, it's not the minister, it's all of us own.
So you're cutting out of the story.
Houston, MTV News.
Finally you get it. On the dot. You see? Good morning and welcome to Rise and Shine for today, Thursday, the 5th day of May, 2022. It's a new month, another month, 5 days into the 5th month of the year. The year is quickly moving by, giving us not much time to think, but we need to do so on our feet, to do it as we move along and ensuring that the decisions that we make, that it can impact others positively. I am your host, Alston Crosby. It's always a pleasure being here with you. It's a beautiful day outside. It's hot, very, very hot. And we're always grateful for the sunshine. And we are getting ready for Mother's Day. We're getting ready for Mother's Day on Sunday. Very, very special day for people like myself and others out there. And remember, being a mother has nothing to do with being able to actually bore children. There are people who have not bore children, but they are mothers because they are playing that role and playing it so well. So today our conversations will be around Mother's Day, so we also get an opportunity to do Mother's Day, and we are into that charged electoral season. We have heard promises of the date coming that will soon be announced, so we'll also be speaking to someone from the electoral office this morning. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a very, very interesting discussions this morning. So I invite all to stay with us as we will be sharing so much with you. If you're out in the diaspora, thank you so much for joining us here in Grenada at home, possibly on your way to work, or still getting ready to go, as your day might be starting at 9 or 10 o'clock, or your shift starts a little later than 8. Call yourself grateful, but you have the little ones to get ready. But you are looking at us, and we are very, very, very grateful for that. So, as we normally do, we help you plan your day, and we will be going over to the Met Office, where we will be sharing this morning's weather forecast. It's beautiful outside, but let us just cement it all with the information that we will be getting from our forecasters. So, we will be going over now to the Met Office. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Robertson.
Degrees Celsius, relative humidity 81%. Yesterday's maximum temperature was 30.4 degrees Celsius and the minimum last night 26 degrees Celsius. Over the past 24 hours, we had a trace of rainfall at the airport. The total for the month remains at 0.1 millimeters. Now for the public forecast for Grenada, Carriacou and PT Martinique, valley for today and tonight. The weather is expected to be generally fair, slight hazy and breezy, becoming partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy with few brief showers mainly overnight. Today's maximum temperature should reach 30.5 degrees Celsius. The wind should be east-northeasterly to easterly at 14 to 24 miles per hour. Sea should be slightly moderate with waves 3 to 5 feet in open waters. Tide is currently falling, will be low at 11:45 a.m. and high at 5:45 p.m. Sunset today 6:22, sunrise tomorrow 5:47. To repeat the forecast, the weather is expected to be generally fair, slight hazy and breezy, becoming partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy with few brief showers mainly overnight. From the Maurice Bishop International Airport, Jason Robertson reporting.
Thank you so much, Jason, and that's the weather forecast for today. I do hope that you heard that and will use it to guide your day. I know we are all hoping that the weather on the weekend will be encouraging, that it will be favorable so that we can do our outdoor events. But even though it's not, what we can do as always is plan and prepare for whatever comes. So thank you so much to our forecasters down there at the Met Office for this morning's weather forecast. So what we're going to do now, it is already 7:43. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back in, we should be speaking with our first guest.
The 5th Annual Masters of Calypso Melody and Rhythm Edition, Sunday, May 8th, Mother's Day, at the Spice Basket Bolio St. George's. Showtime, 6 p.m. and tickets cost $60. Featuring live from Trinidad and Tobago, Baron. Chicanos.
This is party time. I'm feeling to wine.
From Barbados, Red Plastic Bag. From Grenada, Beast, Scholar, Inspector, Black Wizard, Cox, Samantha Dixon, Squeezy and Moyakai. A special award ceremony for the Hitman Inspector.
Let me tell you that Inspector, eating better. Make yourself at home, young fella. eating better.
All artists backed by the Royal Grenadier Police Force Band. A special cocktail on entry for all mothers. Compliments West Hall Rum. Tickets available at Mitchell's Health and Wellness Grand Anse, Grenada Optical St. George's, Kittens Pharmacy in St. George's and Grand Anse, St. David's Pharmacy, Licks and Bites Guave, Maxie's Bar Grenville, Masters of Calypso, powered by West Hall Rums, National Lotteries Authority, Flow, Senator Nolan Cox, Captain Harris Suites, Mitchell's Health and Wellness, ML Construction Services, King Elvis Taxi and Tours. One special evening dedicated to mothers. Sunday, May 8th, 6 p.m. This will be one unforgettable show.
She wants sad, she wants flammy.
Glam out in the best names and designer frames with Quartz Optical. Buy one stylish frame and get 50% off your second pair. Sport your favorite Armani, Converse, Vogue, and many more frames for less. Get an additional 10% off and pay nothing for 30 days when you pay with Ready Finance. Book your free eye examination appointment online today on www.quartzoptical.com. Don't miss the opportunity to glam out, only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see. Offer available while stocks last. Special conditions apply.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business,
for your education,
for your financial freedom,
for that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Rise and shine.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. It's now 7:46 in the morning. We usually give you a time check so that you would know where you should be, where you are, and you can gauge whether or not you need to call in your boss and say that you will be running just a little late. You're on your way, whether you're already there and you're ready to start your day at 8 o'clock this morning. So as I promised, we will be speaking with the Civic and Registration Officer, Mr. Ferdinand Philip. We spoke to him, was it earlier on this year or late last year, when he gave us some very, very important information. Then we were speaking about the importance of re-registration. But now we know that we are, I believe, we are not almost there, but not too far from getting in high gear and to go into that very charged political season. And I know the interest now is ensuring that we hearing the calls, go there, get registered, get re-registered, and show that your name's on the list, and show that you use the time that's given so that you can make your objections or so that the office can do what they need to do to ensure that we are ready for elections. Good morning, Mr. Philip, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning to you and to all of those that are tuned in.
Thank you always for joining us. It is an important time to hear from you. I know that one of the list was released recently. But before we get into that, first question, are we ready? Is your office ready to accommodate elections if the Prime Minister decides to, as he's been coining it, ring the bell anytime soon?
I might counter that by asking, do we have a choice? We, as an office, we are, as per the Constitution, we are mandated to be ready to conduct elections or referendums, as the case may be, at whatsoever point in time the authorities choose to call it. So saying that we are ready must be placed into context. What we do believe, what we can say is that at whatever time the Prime Minister decides to ring the bell, so to speak, we are ready. And in saying that we are ready, we do not want persons to just get the impression that it is only the Parliamentary Elections Office. if you read into your constitution that governs our function, that is our legislation, Cap 286A and the amendments thereof, you realize that the general public plays a very integral role in that whole process. So in answering that question, are we ready? Let's spread our minds a bit into thinking it's not only the electoral office per se, but it's also the wider electorate that participates in this whole process. So in a nutshell, in a context, are we ready? Yes, we are, for whatever the Prime Minister calls. And I trust that the public can speak like us. I trust that the media houses, who provide that platform for persons to air their views and so forth, every one of us plays a part in this whole process.
And you are right. And you are very, very right. This one is not one way. While you have your role to play, we know that is a continuous process for you. It also hinges heavily on what the electorate, which is the majority in this case, goes out there, get re-registered, get registered, and ensure that we are compliant with the rules. The mandates and so that set out from it that your office would guide to ensure that that constitutional right happens on the day that the Prime Minister would announce that it's election day. I know recently you released one of the list, the revised list. What are the figures looking like? I know the last time we spoke, our conversation there hinged heavily on that of re-registration. Are you seeing more people coming in now that we might be in this, what we consider to be the charged season? Are people coming in to get re-registered, or even new voters coming in to get registered?
Yes, for quite some time now, we have been seeing I don't want to use the word dramatic, but quite a noticeable increase in persons engaged in the office to do one of two things. First-timers, persons who have not been registered before, whether they were registered previous to January 2012 and so did not take the opportunity subsequent to that. And so these are first-timers, or they just recently turned 18. We are seeing quite a number of those persons. Why I highlighted them? Because we are seeing a lot of persons who are much older than the 18 and 20-year-olds, because as you know, you must be at least 18 to go and get registered. But we're seeing a lot of persons in the later categories, in the 30s and the 40s, and even into the 50s. You're seeing quite a number of persons. And what you can surmise from that is that these persons, for whatever reason, were sitting on the fence, probably were not too enthused about the whole process, but something has galvanized them. And that's why I made a reference a little earlier to the fact that it's not only the Parliamentary Elections Office that plays a role in this whole process, but it is the general electorate. It is the media houses. It is every stakeholder, every interest group, every patriotic entity that seeks to add value to this whole process with the goal of getting persons to participate in the process. We are also seeing quite a number of persons who have not as yet replaced their cards going out to do so. And so, yes, in general, we have had quite an increase in persons engaged in the office to, one, to get registered, and two, they are persons who are already registered, but whose cards were expired, coming to the office to have those expired cards replaced.
Okay. As that part of the expired cards replaced, there was a comment made, I heard on one of the platforms from the Prime Minister, that whether or not you do get re-registered or your cards that are expired, that once your name is on the list, it does not stop you from actually voting on the day of election. Can you please expound on that?
Let me say that from the Parliamentary Elections Office standpoint, and as I said, we are guided by the legislation. I guess the Prime Minister was quoting from Section 5 of the RPA, Cap 286A, Representation of the People Act, which says that a person who is eligible, qualified, eligible to be registered, and their name is on the electoral list shall be allowed to vote. And I guess that's where he quoted from. again, let me emphasize that, not even saying what the Prime Minister said, but saying what the legislation said. And I urge persons, not just the Prime Minister, but, every person, to read your legislation. Know your rights. Don't just sit down there and listen to what somebody who may have a particular allegiance or whatever say, somebody who may feel, because I'm saying that because about a year and some ago, somebody actually put out, and many persons got those bullets on their phones telling them, do not go and have the ID replaced. But the ID is part of our legislation. Persons who vote should present an ID. But persons, because of, I don't know how they felt, but they are actually putting out that, telling persons not to go and replace the ID. And that defeated the whole process. Subsequent to that, we recognize that persons, that message has ceased. And so persons are being encouraged to go and replace the card. But in the substantive issue, once your name is on the list, what is critical and what persons need to understand, sometimes we get the message muddled and we confuse the electorate. But what is critical in the voting process is that a voter's ID is issued for identification purposes. What we are concerned about on election day is that we are able to identify that if you purport to be John Thomas, that it is John Thomas that is coming and cast that ballot. So that's why Section 5 says, once that person is qualified, eligible to be registered, and their name is on that list, and it's called the finally revised list for elections. Once their name is on that list, they shall be eligible to cast their ballots. And I guess this is what the Prime Minister was referencing on that day. Of course, we are going to continue to hear that message that the card is a requirement, and we urge persons to, when they come to cast their ballots, to come with their cards. We urge persons to go and have the ID replaced and so forth. Because what is critical ultimately on election day, when you go to a particular polling station, they are going to inspect that list. When you identify your name, your address, your occupation, they are going to look to that list and make sure that your name is indeed there. And if your name is not there, you do have a problem. What is absolutely critical is that your name is on that list. Subsequent to that, the verification process will go forward, but your name must be on that list. And to use the old adage we used to hear, if you haven't got a ticket, then you haven't got a chance. If you are not on that list, you will be turned back.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so just quickly, and I guess what you're talking about is the replacement of the expired ID. Yes, technically you are re-registering, but really to re-register suggests that you have been removed from the register, and you have not. I want to emphasize this, cannot do it enough, that once you got registered subsequent to January 2020, you are on that list. Once you did that, not 2020, I should say January 2012, you are on that list. What happened is your ID expired in January of 2020. But once you got registered approximately, 10 years ago? We're in 2022 right now. So in January of 2012, this process started. And any person who registered at that time, they remain on that list. Their names cannot be removed except, I guess, they have died. Then the supervisor of elections can remove them from the list. If they have, as a Commonwealth citizen, they have left the country for a period of more than 12 months, again, they can be removed. As a Grenadian who is out of the country for in excess of 5 years, again, there's machinery there for removing persons. somebody has transferred from one constituency to another, again, the name can be removed from the list, or maybe they have contravened some other act. Again, these are the conditions under which somebody can be removed. Other than that, or maybe an objection has been raised to their registration and it has been allowed or upheld, they can be removed by the supervisor. Other than that, persons who have registered remain on the list. Even though your card expired in January of 2012, you were not removed from the list. You are still on that voters registration list. And as a matter of fact, I believe that in the elections in 2013, there were approximately 50,000 persons on the list. By 2018, that figure went up to quite around in the 70s of thousands. And right now, when we checked just at the end of December, when that consolidated list came out, it was in the mid 80,000 figure. So it was just on around 84,000 persons there. So you realize that the amount of persons that are registered, there's an increase. Now, as to what is required when you go, yes, it is not a re-registration, it is a replacement of the expired card that you go there with for persons who have already registered. But again, you have to bring in the same documents that you brought in last time. We have taken a lot of flack for that. Persons have, sometimes been very much lacking in grace in the way they approach the office because of that. But we can only apply the law that is given to us. We don't make the laws are there. I personally do not criticize it. I may not agree with everything that I see, but I recognize that laws are there to govern or to ensure order within our function. So one of the common questions, why do I have to bring in documents? You have it there. The system requires, and that is for your protection, that every time we manipulate your data as a registered person, you are the person who must initiate it. Again, the system demands that every time we manipulate your data, you are the person who must initiate it. This is different from a driver's license or even a passport, which are creditable documents. However, we must be aware of how sensitive voters' IDs are treated, not only in Grenada, but in every dependency, in every state, in every territory, how this thing is treated and how even the slightest manipulation of information, of data, can be misconstrued into something else. So in this process, every time your data has to be manipulated, you are the person who must initiate that process. So again, to have the ID replaced, you must bring in your documents. And one of the things that is critical for us in this process is that it allows us to update, for example, security features, your facial features, other information that may be required. It allows us to do that. It prevents the issue of fraud from taking place. So we urge the public to please be understanding with us in this regard. So in terms of the replacement process, as I said, you bring in the documents, for example, your valid passport or your official birth certificate. For persons who are within the Commonwealth, they have a declaration form, I believe it's called the Form M, that they need to fill out. The travel document would be scanned to it to ensure that they have met the requirement of at least 1 year in our nation. These are the things that would be required as a Commonwealth citizen. If somebody's married and they want to carry the husband's surname, using an example, then they need to bring in the marriage certificate. If somebody has changed their name, they would, in addition, need to bring in what I think they call a deed poll. Or the person is divorced. The person was married, but they are now divorced and they want to revert to their maiden name, but they were registered with a married name. Then I think they need to bring in a document called the Decree Absolute, something like that. These are things that might be in addition required for persons who have transferred from one constituency to another. And again, we need persons, although we believe by and large persons have understood that, but if you have transferred from one constituency to another, then you need to bring evidence that you are living in this new place that you say that you are living. And what might be the evidence? It might be a property tax demand. It may be a recent utility bill with your name and address on it, proving that you are now living somewhere else. Somebody recently brought in their electronic bank statement, and what was captured was only the person's address. We were not interested in their personal details, but only their address, name and address, which was found above. These things are kept on file. In the cases where someone is living as a young person, living at their parents' home or with some other guardian, and there is no utility or such like in their name, in those cases, the significant person, whether the parent or whatever, can write a letter indicating that such and such person is indeed living with them, and with a copy of the recent bill or such case may be, replacing the expired ID registration for the first time. Basically, it is similar, either the valid passport or the official birth certificate, as the case may be. Now, in terms of a cutoff period, once a writ is issued, we want persons to be aware of that again. Once the Governor General issues a writ, then all registration ceases. Again, once the Governor General issues a writ, in process, I think the Prime Minister again would first call the date of the election, but subsequent to that, a writ will be issued, or several writs, because we have 15 constituencies, so 15 writs would be issued, one for each constituency. It will be communicated to the Supervisor of Elections, who will then communicate each to the returning officers for each constituency. Once that writ is issued, and you will know the date in advance, once that writ is issued, the date is issued, that is the last day of registration or replacement, because after that, all of these things cease until after the election. So it's going to cease on that set day the writ is issued at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, because our office hours are from 9 in the a.m. until 5 in the p.m. Well, it's quite a while now. I think since from last year, the latter part of last year, persons have been bringing in their objections. It is much more an engaged activity than just prior to our last general elections. And prior to that, this was rocket science for every one of us. Nobody bothered with it. The registration officer sat in the office at the end of the 7-day period, and no one came. But just prior to the 2018 general elections, we had, especially in the St. George, Northeast, Northwest, Southeast, and I believe to an extent St. David area, we had quite a few objections that were raised. And what we recognize is that it was a learning process for us. And also coming out of that, we also recognize that the interest groups brought forward the objections too late for us to be able to sufficiently address them prior to the general election, because there are timelines that must be adhered to, and persons did not understand that, and they went onto the various media platforms, and they took us to task, so to speak, not understanding that regardless of what we may feel or what persons may say, we operate under the framework of the legislation. So once an objection is raised about an individual, you cannot just remove the individual from the list like that. The person must be contacted. There's a period of time, I think it's a 7-day period, 5 or 7-day period. They must be contacted by registered posts. A date must be set when the hearing is to be heard. The names of the persons that are objected to must be placed up in the various polling divisions for a period of, I believe, 30 or 40 days. The returning officer or the registration officer may require further evidence if he or she is not satisfied with the evidence brought forward by the person who is doing the objection. The hearings are heard, and then finally a determination is made whether to upkeep the objection or to deny it. If the person that is objected to has that objection upheld and they are to be removed from the list, they can appeal higher than the registration officer to the supervisor of elections, who then must make a decision based on the evidence before him. He makes a decision. If he upkeeps or upholds the objection, and that person is to be removed, that person can go to the highest authority, they can go to the courts. You see the process that is involved in an objection. So what we noticed was that persons did it a bit too late to have it sufficiently ventilated before the last general elections. However, as I said, as we have gotten more competent, persons have gotten more confident with the whole process, and they are more engaging, they understand it better. Up to yesterday, I believe someone came and requested an objection form. So we have had quite a few, and the process is ongoing. We still continue to urge persons, however, do not wait until the last minute to then try to flood the office with a whole series of objections. As you recognize that, please raise those objections. And just to quickly remind persons that you object to you must be registered in the particular constituency where you are raising that objection. Someone living in another constituency or registered in another constituency cannot raise an objection for a person in a different constituency. You must be within that constituency to raise the objection.
Okay. All right. That part.
Yes, in terms of training, we have been engaged. We started training quite recently. We have shortlisted our registration, our poll clerks and our presiding officers or marshals. The poll clerks and presiding officers are a function of the legislation. In other words, it is found within our legislation. However, the marshals, we have seen it fit the necessity of having marshals to help, guide the function on the day, provide assistance to persons who may require, at the various polling stations. Not every polling station may have a marshal, but where we recognize that there may be a need, of course, there are going to be marshals there. But we have started training with these persons, and we have actually done several already. It's just the first session, but it's an ongoing process. We are doing a general training, and then the registration officers will continue to fine-tune in the areas where they believe that there is a need. I heard you use the term returning officers, and it's once the election really gets into full gear that usually it's registration officers. So these registration officers will then take the oath and be appointed as returning officers to conduct the election in every specific constituency. But right now they are registration officers. As the date is announced and the writ is issued, they will take their oaths and they will then be referred to as returning officers tasked with the responsibility of conducting the general elections. Training, in a nutshell, has been an ongoing process, but right now we are gearing up, so to speak. The process is intensifying, and so we are we have identified our potential presiding officers, poll clerks, and so forth, and we are beginning to actually work with them to the specifics of what is required leading up to the election, on the day of the election, and subsequent to election day. I want to just also quickly take the opportunity to appeal to the general public, because we know on a normal case, we usually take 2 weeks to produce a card for persons. However, we have been regularly appealing to persons, do not wait for the last minute. Now that's a construct of Caribbean societies. We tend to behave like that. But what is happening now, because we have so many persons engaging the offices, to get registered or to have their IDs replaced, it's taken a little longer than the 2 weeks that should have been occurring. In some cases, it's 3 weeks, some cases, it's a little more. And there are 1 or 2 cases where, based on the documentation, because what the general public must understand, A few years ago, I went to get an NIS card, and it took me a little under 25 minutes to get. That does not happen with a voter's ID. It should not happen at all with a voter's ID. You register, you submit your documents. The assistant ensures that the documents are in place, and so they take your registration. The application must then be looked at by the registration officer. So first you engage the assistant registration officer, but now it's being looked at and verified by the registration officer in the constituency. Subsequent to that, it goes to the assistant supervisor of elections or the supervisor who must approve that application. So you see there's a process, there's a series of steps that are involved. Subsequent to that, its approval, it is then printed a final process where assurance is made that what was submitted is actually what is printed. We look for misprints and so forth. And then it must be collected by the registration officer and brought back to the office where you, the person who did the application, must come back and collect. You cannot send anyone else to collect that document for you. So it is taking a little longer right now. And what we are noticing, some persons, gracious in their approach to the office. We continue to emphasize to all officers, you are a servant of the people, and you have to demonstrate that professionalism, that maturity, even when faced with difficulties. But at the same breath, we must also remind the general public that please, as you engage the office, you are dealing with human beings. And some of the stories that we hear, when we hear it negative on our side, we address it. We do our training, we call persons at times and we remind them of their function. But to the general public, I must appeal to the public, to please be courteous as you engage the office, because right now everyone is under a little, heightened, anxiety, because it's a lot more cases and some of them are quite technical to deal with. But persons, please, be courteous. Approach the office with a smile. A little thank you, whatever, will go a long way is in ensuring that our officers find value in getting up every day and going to their work to carry out a function for the state, for the benefit of every one of us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Again, thank you very much for having us.
You're most welcome.
And we'll be speaking to a representative. My second conversation is that of a representative from Sunshine Promotion, as we have an opportunity to speak about the big Mother's Day concert, the return of the Mother's Day concert on Saturday at the National Stadium. And no other to share Then Miss Akira Patterson, representative from Sunshine Promotion. Good morning, Akira, and welcome to Rise and Shine.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning to all of the MTV viewers, whether it be online or on local television. It's always a pleasure to share.
Good morning. I do apologize for the delay, but we will have our fair share to share on the program, on the concert on Saturday, and of course the importance. Let's start off with. It is the return. It has been 2 years. Everybody has been inside for Mother's Day. I know for many during the lockdown, it was just to meet with your family. You can't go anywhere, call on the phone. But this year we have an opportunity to come back out and mingle again, be a part of something that's fun. So let's speak about Saturday night. It is the return. It has taken you time to plan, and I know you did, and you did so well.
Thank you so very much. It's been a long overdue, very highly anticipated return to the show. We all had to exercise patience during the COVID-19 period. We still are aware that it is still a threat present, so we still do have guidelines in place for that to keep our patrons safe, because that's at the forefront of our minds all the time. Nevertheless, it is definitely a bright light at the end of the tunnel to at least be able to stage these sorts of events again and reactivate the people that have been so committed to the entertainment and live performance industry here in Grenada, just in terms of, rehabilitating the airline industry, which would have been severely disrupted as a result of this as well. And in addition to other hiccups, but for the most part, most of the technical professionals that work in the entertainment industry are so grateful to be able to be earning in their areas of passion again. So I just really want to commend all of the healthcare officials, the COVID-19 response team, the members of the Royal Grenada Police Force, for really ensuring that for the most part, Grenada has been one of the countries that have not experienced the brunt to its extent and entirety of COVID-19. And we are back again, and we are back with our flagship event. Sunshine Promotions is very pleased to be bringing a Night of Love back to Grenada. This is one of the first events that we've announced under our brand that we started with 21 years ago. And here we are after a pandemic, so many fluctuations in the entertainment industry, so many challenges, but we are still around. And we are very proud of the quality and the brand that we have been consistent with thus far. And I think this one is definitely going to exceed expectations in terms of, just surprising people that, yes, we are really back and the quality is actually the same. So we are boasting a cast of 6 international acts. And I say 6 international acts, even though you notice that 3 of them are from Grenada, because these 3 local acts that we will be featuring are also international in their own right, because they are headliners in international venues. And so I think that is very important for us to acknowledge the fact that we have very phenomenal talent here. And as such, we need to come out early to ensure that we support Grenadian entertainers that sell out other people's events in foreign. So we're looking forward to featuring on stage the likes of Valley Ned, who is not just a lead vocalist, that's been a staple and very consistent female in entertainment for years now. But we also have the phenomenal and incomparable Dash. And then we have the Prince of Soca, as we fondly and lovingly call him, Vaughn. And they are all talented in their own right. I think they go excellent with the cast and the team for this year in terms of a Night of Love fusion, because these artists transcend so many genres of music. And it's not just the popular ones that we're familiar with, but they have so many other songs from different genres in their catalog that they'll be showcasing on that night again. And if that wasn't enough, showcasing what we have to offer in this beautiful Spice Isle, we also are welcoming back so fondly one of our favorites, the headliner, Taurus Riley, and his entire band, the Black Soil Band. And he will also be accompanied by the legendary Dean Fraser, that has been playing saxophone for the likes of some of the greatest in reggae for such a long time. And he will be back on our stage as well. And after that, we also have performing for the first time ever in Grenada, Stylo G. He's actually from Jamaica, but he lives in the UK and he's been topping the UK charts. And I know that the 25 to 35 or even under demographic are very excited about Stylo. They have been showing their support to him as an artist on our social media in particular. And then we have Governor as well. He's a Jamaican artist, very prominent, rising, definitely prominent future within the music industry. And he's a friend of Sunshine Promotions. And so that's our entire cast. And we're really looking forward to a blend of music, live performances. We have live band music, which is always a staple for us because we realize that it's different from just having performers on tracks with DJ. We heard a lot of that, you know, playing songs from YouTube and songs on tracks for ourselves when we were home in our sequestered spaces. So now that we're back, we want to have the full band. So Tarrus Riley's band is 12 members. So it's going to be the full orchestra on stage. And in addition to that, we have our local band, the police band, Basie, and a couple other members that play for both national competitions as well as private and national events. So we're really looking forward to having a phenomenal welcome back. Our sponsors are very excited about it, our event partners, and so are we. So thanks, Goslin. It's really a long time coming, but we're very excited about it.
What we have been seeing, absence do make the heart grow fonder. And I do believe that with the absence and the blended cast, that the expectations of many of patrons, they will be coming out on Saturday to see what it is. Because I think we can also see a shift as to the cast. Normally, Mother's Day event, we bring out, yes, we know Tarrus. Tarrus is one of our favorites. We have had our Beres in the past, the Lost and the others. And I think we can name them, the George Nukes, because we can speak to the experience. This time we have a more blended cast that can bring out a wider demographic in that of the Stylo G and the Governor to now bring us to its mature. So I think we should be having quite an exciting event come Saturday at the stadium.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. And Tarrus is one of the artists that really could have held his own in this fusion cast, because not just having collaborations with younger artists such as Shensia, but he also has collaborations with Stylo G. So we're looking forward to that on stage as well. And he has always remained current, you know, so even within our younger, you know, patrons that come out for Night of Love, they are also interested in Tarrus as well, you know, so I definitely think it's a good blend, but just being mindful of our core Night of Love audience. And we know that we have some mature patrons that will come out and don't want to spend the whole night waiting for Tarrus. So we've adjusted, you know, our performance order to ensure that people, you know, these people, we cater for our mature audience, because we know our Sunshine Promotion audience are the length and breadth of just lovers of good music and good entertainment. So after our international local acts have thoroughly performed, we are going to introduce Tarrus Riley on stage with his band after. So he will be at the pinnacle of the show, right in between the first segment and the last segment, which will be Stylo G and Governor. So expect Tarrus on stage around midnight, around there for the latest. And he has a full set of 90 minutes. And every time Tarrus comes, he takes around 2 hours. So it's not going to be the hour and a half that he would have said, because he's really looking forward to coming back to Grenada. You know, in the promo drop that we released yesterday on our social media, Sunshine Promotions on Facebook and Instagram, he said that he wants to get up close and personal with the Spice Isle again. You know, it's one of the venues and one of the locations, Grenada as a country. It's just a place that's always been welcoming, not just for our tourists, but also for our performers who are a part of the entertainment tourism industry. So we're very excited that is, you know, the type of reputation that our country has, and that our artists are so excited. Grenada is one of the places where people in the crowd could actually touch the stage, touch the feet, reach out and stretch and touch the performers when they're performing. And I think that is one of the aspects that people really look forward to. And the performers feel comfortable in doing that because we're so safe and we're such a lovely, you know, welcoming nation of people. So we're looking forward to all of that. I think Tarrus and, you know, the entire blend works really well. It complements. We've found that we've had 2 different types of people calling, because some people will call and be like, Akira, where can I get tickets for Governor and Stylo? And then people will call and be like, Akira, tickets for Tarrus. let me know where the ticket outlets are, and it's all the same, event. So we're really looking forward to bringing, so younger mothers as well as more mature mothers can all come out and enjoy themselves in one event, live band, live music with Judah Sound System. So we know the expectation is high and the quality will definitely rise to the occasion.
Okay. Remind us of showtime and also, as you just said, ticket outlets, because people will be looking. We make up our minds most of the times, and we just heard the supervisor of elections saying the same thing. It's a Caribbean thing to do things on the last. So where to find their tickets and showtime? As you did said, he will be on stage at around midnight. Just adjusting your headliner, of course, just to accommodate everyone. So speak to us about when the show will be starting and, of course, where people can find their tickets.
Right. So Sunshine Promotions showtime is very prompt. Our show, the gates open from 9 and our showtime is at 10 p.m. and 10 p.m. sharp. And all of our loyal patrons that's been to Sunshine Promotion events, just not, Nights of Love, knows that when we say a certain time, that's when we actually start. And for this event, we really don't want anybody to be late. We want people to be on time because we don't want you to miss any of the stellar cast. Even the local acts have a full set. So you will see them performing the length of the song that you like, and you get to hear the second verse too, not just the first, So we're really looking forward to that. So come out for 10 p.m. sharp. That's when the show will begin. And our ticket outlets are nationwide as well as online through gotofet.com. And I know some people like the convenience. We have some people within the diaspora as well that are coming in for the event, and they've been able to access these tickets via GoToFet. But for all of those that miss the experience of going into a physical box office, purchasing that ticket and looking at it every day leading up to the event, knowing that they're coming after waiting for such a long time, you can check our box offices island-wide. So in St. George, well, first of all, we have tickets in all Gittins outlets nationwide. So St. George's, Gittins on Wall Street, in Guelph, as well as Grenville, you can access your tickets at all Gittins outlets. But in addition, in St. George, we also have Cass Unisex Boutique, where you can get the VIP tickets as well, together with Grenadian Optical. That's both in St. George and in Grand Anse. So you can access your tickets from Grenadian Optical. We do have tickets as well at Heather, at the boutique, Heather's Boutique, and most people who go know where they could find Heather. Quick stop on Kirani James Boulevard and Chucky's Bar, right opposite the bus terminus. So you can just jump out of the bus, order a roti, order the tickets, and get a package, and leave. Going up the West Coast in St. John, as I said, Gittins Health and Wellness in Guelph. So all of the people in St. George and in St. John and the surrounding area can access their tickets at Gittins in Guelph. Continuing up the West Coast to St. Mark, you can get your tickets at Pierre's Barbershop. So Pierre's Barbershop in St. Mark. And then heading up to St. Andrew, you can access your tickets at Gittins Healthcare Pharmacy. That's in Grenville, as well as Health Plus Pharmacy. Not forgetting our talented parish of St. Patrick. You can access your tickets at Calico Shopping Center, in St. David, Crowshoe Gas Station, and in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, you can access your tickets from Marina Mills. Special shout out to the contingent from Carriacou and Petit Martinique, Sister Island, even Union Island, that's going to be coming down. We had to replenish the supply of tickets in Carriacou yesterday because Rena called bright and early Monday saying, Akira, the tickets sold out, and I have a crew from Union and I have some other people that order, so you need to send up some more tickets. And that's the type of support that we appreciate from Carriacou. We always try to show them love and do package deals as much as possible, even with the ferry service and stuff like that. So after coming back, after 2 years, a long time waiting, to see their enthusiasm, it's definitely encouraging. So anybody in Carriacou, Petit Martinique, even Union, go through the proper, protocols to get into Grenada, of course, because we know you're Vincentian, and ensure that you are at the National Stadium. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm for checking out.
The joy of living, what we call it, skipping through the islands, and I'm sure we all get to enjoy it. And the people from Union Island will be doing the same. Akira, before you run off, any parting words? I know that it is expected, and now the work, because preparing for a show takes a lot. In the case of Judah Sounds, you have logistics to prepare. You also need to prepare, well, everything. The entire layout of the place, the running order, everything has to happen. But I know you do have a team, a very responsive team. So as it relates to delivery, that one is not questioned, as you have done it in the past. And with the break, it is expected that it would be superb on Saturday for that Mother's Day celebration at the stadium.
So it's definitely a tall order, and thank you so much for saying that. And it speaks to, the years of working in music industry, working in the entertainment industry here in Grenada. As I said, we were supposed to celebrate our 20th anniversary last year, and we couldn't, and we understand that. But at least we're coming back now in fine style, and we are rising to the occasion, to the level at which our patrons have come to expect us. And we're reminding them just why, we are still present after 20 plus years of doing this. But just before I leave, I want to remind patrons that they can have two types of experiences at the event. You can either have the general access experience, the general access ticket, going for $100 to $120, depending on which outlets you go to. If the early birds are done, then you go up to $120. And then we have the premium stage side experience, which will be complemented by the catering from Victory Bar and Restaurant. So Randy and the entire team at Victory Bar. It's a 4-course menu spread. So we're bringing the restaurant to the stadium, literally. There will be the finger food party station. You have the main course station. We have desserts. And what would be a good event without a nice corn soup at the end, whether it's vegetable or whether it's with salt meat. So we're definitely going to have those options there live in the premium VIP section. And we let our VIP patrons know, especially the ladies, that they can feel free to put on their heels, because we're going to be matting the field in the VIP area. So you can feel free, because you'll be in front of the stage, side of the stage, and having that sort of premium experience. We want to ensure that you can still dress up in fine style, put on the extra 2 inches, 3 inches, whatever your persuasion is, and be right there in front of the stadium in that coveted Instagrammable space where you can take a selfie with Taras right in the back of you performing on stage. And in addition to that, we have premium drinks and cocktails unlimited all night for the VIP patrons. Only $350 for the VIP right now. And it also includes premium parking and private access, ushered access into the stadium. We also have a welcome drink for our general admission patrons. So for people who come out early, even before going to the bars in the general admission, we will be sending you, drinks. You would have drinks on entry. Compliments our lovely sponsors. And just before I leave, I want to acknowledge them, because as you would appreciate, Oslin, after not doing any events for such a long time, and things and people and businesses, especially the private sector, having to adjust to deal with some of the ramifications of COVID, to now, come back, and they come back with such enthusiasm. We must acknowledge them, because without them, the event wouldn't be possible. So the Netherlands Insurance, they have been one of the sponsors that have been with us throughout the decades. Mr. Strawn and the entire team, they are proud supporters of the arts. And this means, a lot of the time you would have a tagline, but the tagline of proud supporters of the arts at Netherlands Insurance definitely rings through, because they go beyond the expectation as a sponsor to just anticipate what could happen, say suggestions. Mr. Strawn is very keen on that. So thank you so much to the entire team at Netherlands. The Grenada Cooperative Bank, thank you so much. They've been one of our staple partners for years. The Radisson Grenada Beach Resort, which has been one of our accommodation partners for years now. And this year, we are proud to introduce as well the Royalton coming on as one of our official accommodation partners. Very excited about that. So thank you to the team there. Glenelg Natural Spring Water, Mr. Philip and the entire team, who's actually even ensuring that our sound crew is hydrated right now as they build that, huge stage in the National Stadium at this very moment. To all our other partners such as Vesco Construction, St. Augustine Medical Services, they're always present. A lot of times people don't even know that there's always a SAMS ambulance located in the venue, just in case anything happens. I mean, we never have to use them, but just having their presence, St. Augustine we're very grateful. So Dr. Michi and the entire team that works so diligently. Cass Unisex Boutique, Pipeline Promotions, Sign Experts, Going Places Travel, you know, Miss Adolphus and the entire team. I can tell you, Audlin, it's been a sweat trying to get these flights and get even artists to fly within the region. You would think that it would be easy to get from Jamaica to Grenada, nothing like that. You know, people have to bounce to Miami and then come back to Grenada. You know, it's been a task, but Going Places Travel have really assisted us and took off, you know, a lot of load off of my shoulders for a fact in just trying to get that done. Digicel, Sol EC, Fit for Life Medical, which will be doing our COVID testing for our outbound, our artists on the outbound, just to ensure that they could get back to where they came from. Carabury and Victory Bar and Restaurant, who are VIP caterers. So these are all of our partners. We are so grateful, not sponsors, but partners, because they really collaborate to push this event through and through. And we're really grateful to them. So thank you so much. And we look forward to having a spectacular event this Saturday inside of the National Stadium. I want everyone to be present to really enjoy it. Bring out the mothers, the lovers of music, and we're going to have a great time.
Will be everything that's returning. And as I said, I don't think you have much to do this time around. Absence always makes it easier. COVID, I think, has given everyone quite an opportunity placed on a platter that you just need to just capitalize on. So the very best we wish you at the event on Saturday. I'm sure it will be successful. It is one that, you know, women do put out themselves for the boutiques, the salons, and so they do get that kind of traffic because it is one that you look forward to. And it is always the event that starts early. You can go for 10 o'clock and you know that something will be happening at the stadium, and you will be able to get out at a reasonable time to actually maybe get up on the Sunday morning and go to church. That is one of the things that we know is tradition for that Mother's Day event by Sunshine Promotion. So Akira, you and your team, thank you so much again for being here with us this morning. I do appreciate your sharing, and the very best we wish you and your team on Saturday for that big event, that big Mother's Day event at the National Stadium.
Thanks so much, Oslin. Have a great one.
Thanks. Sunshine Promotion speaking there about Saturday's big Mother's Day concert, a Night of Love Fusion. It's Taurus Riley, Governor, and Stylo G together with Dash, Valine, Ned, and Vaughn at the National Stadium. Remember, showtime 10 o'clock. You can get your tickets. Outlets throughout the island. St. George, every parish have an outlet. Go out there, get your tickets, and please have an enjoyable one. It is usually a beautiful event. There is no reason why you should not go out there. It is always well placed, well run, very well, quite efficient, and you will be having that time to get home. If you want to get up on a Sunday morning and go out to church, you will have that time to do that still. It affords you that opportunity. So to Sunshine Promotion and their team, we wish you the very best on Saturday's event at the National Stadium. It is now 8:42, so that's where we conclude for this morning. Always a pleasure to our guest, Mr. Ferdinand Phillip, the registration officer at the Parliamentary Elections Office, speaking to us this morning about the preparation process. The reminder, please go there, and you need to renew your card. If you are not registered, you need to go get registered. Remember, once the date is announced and the wreaths are passed by the Governor General, all registration and renewal of cards cease as the office then prepare for actual election day. Do what you need to do. Remember, it is not just the Parliamentary Elections Office, but we as the electorate have our part to play. That's what we need to do. Do so well within the timeline. The list, it is out now, your objections, your concerns, now is the time to do it. Because if you do it too late, the process will not be able to happen as the timelines that are within the law for these objections to be able to go through due course and due process, it will not happen. So do what you need to do. Be mindful of the rules and regulations that govern these processes, and try to work within them. Sunshine Promotion show on Saturday at the National Stadium. Go there. It's Mother's Day on Sunday, and I would have an opportunity now to share my Mother's Day greeting with all our wonderful mothers out there. So those of us who can proudly say that we are mothers, please. Enjoy your day on Sunday. The greatest gift that a woman can ever be given is that of being able to bear children. To those who may not have born but continue to play that role of mother, we say Happy Mother's Day to you. Enjoy your day on Sunday. Celebrate it. You deserve to. You deserve to. As we celebrate woman. That is what we are, woman. So we do say thank you to all the mothers here at MTV. I extend Happy Mother's Day to you. All our viewers, thank you so much. Our sponsors, always partnering on this initiative. We do appreciate your continued support. Viewers in the diaspora here at home in Grenada, maybe listening in your vehicles or at the office, do have yourself a splendid day. Remember, please help someone today. Somebody may just need you to listen. They may need your shoulder to cry on. Do what you can to help someone today. It is our human responsibility to do so. I am your host, Arcelyn Crosby. The team, Elton, Sugars, and I know we have a new team member this morning. Thank you so much to you for being here. Tanya, always a pleasure making this program a success. I do appreciate your contribution. See you again on Tuesday when we do this all over again for Rise and Shine here on MTV. Have a splendid day, everyone.
The 5th Annual Masters of Calypso Melody and Rhythm Edition, Sunday, May 8th, Mother's Day, at the Spice Basket Bolio St. George's. Showtime, 6 p.m. and tickets cost $60. Featuring live from Trinidad and Tobago, Baron. Chicanos.
This is party time. I'm feeling to wine.
From Barbados, Red Plastic Bag. From Grenada, Beast, Scholar, Inspector, Black Wizard, Cox, Samantha Dixon, Squeezy and Moyakai. A special award ceremony for the Hitman Inspector.
Let me tell you that Inspector, eating better. Make yourself at home, young fella. Eating better.
All artists backed by the Royal Grenada Police Force Band. A special cocktail on entry for all mothers. Compliments West Hall Rum. Tickets available at Mitchell's Health and Wellness Grand Anse, Grenada Optical St. George's, Kittens Pharmacy in St. George's and Grand Anse, St. David's Pharmacy, Licks and Bites Guave, Maxie's Bar Grenville, Masters of Calypso, powered by West Hall Rum's National Lotteries Authority, Flow, Senator Nolan Cox, Captain Harris Suites, Mitchell's Health and Wellness, ML Construction Services, King Elvis Taxi and Tours. One special evening dedicated to mothers. Sunday, May 8th, 6 p.m. This will be one unforgettable show.
She wants that. She wants plumbing.
Glam out in the best names and designer frames with Quartz Optical. Buy one stylish frame and get 50% off your second pair. Sport your favorite Armani, Converse, Vogue, and many more frames for less. Get an additional 10% off and pay nothing for 30 days when you pay with Ready Finance. Book your free eye examination appointment online today on www.quartzoptical.com. Don't miss the opportunity to glam out, only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see. Offer available while stocks last. Special conditions apply.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business.
For your education.
For your financial freedom.
For that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Rise and shine.